Good evening. Welcome to the Glens Falls Common Council meeting. It's Tuesday, September 12, 2023. It's 7:30, and we'll begin tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Ed Donahue.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll begin the Common Council with public comments. And I believe tonight we have Attorney Matt Fuller here to discuss the project that I passed out in the Common Council as a proposed rezoning of 4 Sherman Avenue for Stewart's Company. Matt, how are you?
Good evening, Mayor. Thanks. Thank you, everybody, for a couple minutes time. I won't keep you long. So as the mayor said, Stewart's is under contract to purchase the lot right next door to the Glen Street shop at 4 Sherman, right kind of kitty corner from 333 Glen. Kind of a natural progression for Stewart's, and we've gone through the city and updated Warren Street, then Ridge, and now we're going to do some upgrades over here at Sherman, if it's okay with the city, obviously. So what we would propose to do is to rezone the 4 Sherman lot into the commercial district. And we've done it, I think, pretty successfully in the past. Procedurally, what we would like to do is get over to the planning board. The planning board's usually has been the practice, would make a recommendation back to the Common Council, up or down. This wouldn't be our last stop. Obviously the zoning is just the first. Then we'd have to go through site plan review with the planning board if the Common Council found it in their good graces to make that change for us. So that is the quick lowdown proposal. What we'll do is, I know that the planning board has a deadline the 3rd Wednesday. I'll get a letter over to them if the Common Council can make that referral to the planning board. And then procedurally, however, time-wise, you guys, we would ask for a public hearing for the local law amendment. And if anything is needed, drafts or anything, we'll be happy to supply whatever the city wants.
Who owns that property now? What's it used for?
It is part of the 333 Glen Holdings. And it's parking, ancillary parking. They did get a waiver, 333 Glen, last week, I believe, from the planning board to allow this to happen. So procedurally, we had to have that waiver from the parking for 333 Glen. That happened. Now we can come ask the Common Council for the zoning amendment. And if
they also sold the lot across the street at Washington Avenue.
Right.
And that's going to be housing.
Right.
Apartments.
I did read that.
Did that
Yeah.
get passed by the planning board?
Yes. Yes.
And even though it's a parking lot now, it's been a parking lot since I can remember, can you tell us what is the current zone of that?
I believe it is in the residential zone now, yes.
Multifamily
Yep.
residential.
Right, multifamily, and we would propose to go to the GC1, General Commercial 1, which is generally this area right
Next
here.
to the Glen Street.
Yep.
GC1.
Would there be additional curb cuts, Ed?
No additional curb cuts, no. And as a matter of fact, as part of the site plan, we'll be limiting some of it down. Correct on that, Chuck? I have Chuck Marshall with Stewart's here with me. Feel that one?
I'm Chuck Marshall from Stewart's. So obviously dependent upon what the planning board deals with site plan, but yeah, the natural instance is to close the 2 closest curb cuts to the intersection. And Matt and I were just talking about potentially realigning the crosswalk, but a matter for another day.
And is this going to be a construction like you did in South Glens Falls, where the existing store will stay open and you'll build behind it?
In almost every instance, we keep the existing store open.
Will you, at the time that you're going around there, work on the sidewalks around the perimeter?
Yeah, I mean, anything that comes up during site plan, but
We did, yeah.
I mean, we did it. I know we did it Ridge Street.
We did it Warren.
and we did it Broad. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So are you planning on keeping the existing canopy of?
No. So the existing store will stay, so even though the 4 Sherman Ave lot is large enough for the gas reconfiguration, we don't think we have enough to do a new store. There will be some modifications to the existing store. A window would have to be installed along the western side to make the gas visible from inside. A couple of years ago, that store went through some external changes when the exterior was changed to the siding and stone. But if you also remember, the canopy was physically connected to the building, and that connection was removed.
Any other questions? If, so the council is amenable, we can refer the matter to the planning board. The planning board then would first review the request for the rezoning.
Yep.
And then site plan review.
Site plan review can only come once the project is zoning compliant. So we would go through the rezoning process, and then, in time order, we would have the application set up to immediately go to the planning board, as we've done in the past. Yeah, we'll work that.
So planning board would send an advisory opinion, and then we would hold a public hearing and then adopt the local law.
Right. Yep.
Are there any objections to the Stewart's company moving this forward to the planning board?
Do we have to do this under new business?
You could do it under new business, or you could wait and put it on the next agenda, but you kind of like to go to planning board.
Yeah, it's just a referral. The substance of the Common Council's action would be the public
If
hearing.
you put it under new business, everyone has to
Everyone has
vote.
to support it.
Everyone has to vote.
I see a lot of heads shaking up and down, so, except for Ben, but.
Yeah, it doesn't commit you to the rezoning. All it does is allow us to get to the planning board and then
Right.
come back to you. So it doesn't
All you're
paint.
doing is a resolution to send it to planning board for an advisory opinion.
I'll make that motion when we get to new business.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And obviously, if anybody thinks of anything, just email me or call me. We'll take it into advisory. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now we'll continue with public comment. If there's anybody who'd like to come in front of the council, please tell us your name and address and say hello. Not seeing anyone. We'll open up to Jeff Mead. We've asked Jeff to come from the Civic Center. They've made great progress on Heritage Hall. We wanted to have him give you an update.
Thanks for asking me to come here. Appreciate it. Just the Heritage Hall project is it's a 7,300 square foot conference center that's been in the arena since 1979. I'm not quite sure it's ever been updated until last May, so we're very excited about. If you came to the space in May, there was truly water running down the walls from when the roof didn't work that well at the arena, and the city obviously put a new roof on a year ago. So thank you very much for that. It's been a tremendous upgrade for the building. But yeah, the floors were bad. The ceiling was like a popcorn ceiling with concrete installed in it. The chandeliers, back in the day, you were allowed to smoke in Heritage Hall. So the chandeliers had a little bit of the yellow residue that cigarette smoke leaves. I could go on and on. The audio didn't work. The video was ugly. The hallway was ugly. It was pretty dated. I think you kind of get my the point. But so the city of Glensville is out of their ARPA money. Did give us $200,000 for the project. We were lucky that Warren County gave us $500,000 out of ARPA and the rock tax. We've raised money. We put a bunch of our own money into it as well. So we're probably about 2 weeks away from the room being done. Please come down. We'd love to have you. It's beautiful. To be honest, it wouldn't have taken a lot to make it beautiful compared to what it was. But it's beautiful. Next Friday, assuming we get our CO, we'll have our first event for good and bad. It's the Sandy's Clam Bar 3rd annual reunion show. So we're excited about that. I never thought that a good buddy of mine would be putting on the first event in the new Heritage Hall, but he is. And since we've also got a chamber mixer booked for October. We've got a White Lion concert booked in October. And we've got a lot of interest in the space since we've just kind of announced that we're upgrading the Heritage Hall project. So, I just want to say thank you very much for the funds and the trust using your funds, and what we think will be a great addition to the building. So happy to answer any questions on that and or anything else going on at the arena.
Is it fully funded, the project? I know you were still looking for a little bit of cash.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're always fundraising, Jim. For this project or the next project, yeah. So, but no, we're in good shape. You know, my board is, you know, committed about $75,000 of their own dollars already. We've had some external funds as well. We have plenty of money to do the inside of the room, but you know, when we learned, you know, the inside of the room is going to be beautiful, but the hallway in Heritage Hall again was like a 1979 space, so we thought we needed to upgrade that as well. So that's what we're doing right now. So we think we have enough money to do the inside of the room and the hallway, and then eventually we'll find money to upgrade the bathrooms that join into Heritage Hall. So that'll be the next project in 2024.
What'd you do with the velvet curtains?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you didn't take the velvet curtains down, did you?
Well, the fire chief said they're not fire retardant. So being a good steward of your building, we throw them in the dumpster.
That's good.
Jeff, just a comment. There you go.
I'd just like to congratulate you and your group for what you've done at our Civic Center. You work for some of the best business people that we have in our community, and you've been there for a long time, so you must be doing something right.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I have a great board of directors. Yeah, it's been over 8 years now, so they're very good to me, and they're very good people. So no, it's been a good partnership between me, the coalition, and the city of Glens Falls. So thank you.
Anyone else? I hope you saved me a ticket to the Sandy's reunion. Third annual.
Third annual, yeah.
Benefit operations there.
Yes. So.
Yeah, well, it's a great cause, and I know Karen, you donated today, you the law firm, so thank you. Yeah, but it's always a fun night, and we're gonna have the hot dog sauce from Sandy's as well. So if you enjoyed that a few years ago, come on down.
But I won't need a ticket to the White Snake. Is it White Snake?
Mike, the songs of Mike Tramp, who was the lead singer of White Lion.
Oh, White Lion.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I will say this, I gotta say, you guys are doing some great stuff. I've seen a couple of things come out with some shows coming up down the road that are like, wow, all right, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, today we announced Jeff Dunham, the comedian, for a January show. The Globetrotters are back. Next week we'll announce that the rodeo is coming back for the 31st year, which is a great event. Godsmack's on sale right now for October. I think we're over 2,100 tickets sold.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really good show. And last year we had the big Trey New show, which had 6,100 people in there, and it was probably the busiest the building's been since I've been there. So probably in the last 20 years. So
I'm gonna put in a word for a contemporary Christian rock group to come in. The arena down south is bringing them. So
yeah, we try, Jim. That's the little downside about our small little town. It's not always the easiest to get a musical act to come up to Glens Falls when they can go to Albany, but we definitely try, and we'll keep trying.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Good, I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Not seeing any other public comment. Let's see, we'll go to committee reports. Councilman Clark.
No report.
Councilman Donahue.
No report.
Councilman Landry.
Personnel and Labor Committee is going to meet again tomorrow, September 13th, to hopefully finalize negotiations on the union contract with the police department. I think we're almost there. I believe that after this meeting, we'll have a good contract for both the city and the police PBA.
Thank you. Councilwoman Palmer.
The Recreation Committee will be meeting this Thursday at 1 p.m. We will be, the status of the upgrades to the parks is going really well, so we're going to be talking about an event to kind of do a ribbon cutting to announce that all the parks are open and finished, and also some potential more improvements that could be done. Building and codes, as soon as we get a little more feedback on the noise ordinance we've been working on, we will call a meeting. I know that the city attorney and the code enforcement officer have taken a good look at it, and we've had some constituents reaching out just saying, what's the status of this? And So I just want to assure them that we are still working on it and we're planning to meet as soon as we have a good draft to work on again. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Webb?
Tomorrow, Wednesday, the 13th, Technology Committee will be meeting at 11, and at 7 p.m., the Climate Smart Communities Task Force will be meeting.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Good? Thank you. Under voice vote, there are 2 voice resolutions. First is a resolution to approve the minutes of the August 22nd, 2023 meeting of the Glens Falls Common Council. And 2 is a resolution to approve the clerk's monthly and PVB report. Let's see, a voice vote. Is there a motion to approve the voice vote?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Under roll call vote, are there any roll call items that the council would like to pull for discussion?
I've got several of them, unfortunately. It's just, I want to have a conversation. Number 3, number 11, number 12, and 13.
Okay. Any others? Not hearing any more. We'll start with, under roll call vote, Resolution 4 is a resolution to approve the reclassification of the position of office specialist from account clerk in the Recreation Department with a pay grade from grade 7 to grade 8 per CSEA contract. The current employee will be appointed off the current established certified list dated 11/30/2022. 5 is a resolution to award CGF 23-11 to C&L Mechanical, Fort Edward, for replacement of the cooling tower at Glens Falls Recreation Ice Rink with a total price of $69,408.47. This includes the removal of the failed unit and installation of the new one. The city will be responsible for 50% of the cost, and the Adirondack Youth Hockey Association will pay for the other 50% as cost per our contract. Let's see, that was 5. Resolution 6 is a resolution to approve the City of Glens Falls Community Development manual payments in the amount of $11,031.14. 7 is a resolution to decrease the revenue line A009999-2680 insurance recovery by $2,723.16, and increase budget expense line A23120-4352 motor vehicle repair by $2,723.16 to pay for damages sustained by a GFPD patrol cruiser. 8 is a resolution to approve the mobile food license application for renewal for Joseph and Nancy Gonzalez, DBA Kona Ice of Clifton Park, 62 Blue Way, Rexford, New York, for a 1-week mobile food unit license to vend through Crandall Park from September 21st, 2023 through September 24th, 2023 for the Adirondack Balloon Festival. 9 is a resolution to approve the mobile food license application for John Mantis, DBA Mike's Restaurant, 1135 Erie Boulevard, Schenectady, for a 1-week mobile food unit license to vend at Crandall Park from September 21st, 2023 through September 24th, 2023 for the Adirondack Balloon Festival. 10 is a resolution to retroactively approve an encroachment permit as approved by Mayor Collins on August 29th, 2023 for 58 South Street LLC, the owner of 58 South Street, to excavate in the street and the sidewalk to install a sprinkler system to 58 South Street from August 29th, 2023 through August 31st, 2023 with safeguards for pedestrian access on the sidewalk per PROAG regulations, and to have the area cordoned off per vehicle traffic, and also to replace the sidewalk with full panels, not just limits of trenching per the city engineer standard conditions. 11 is pulled, 12 is pulled, 13 is pulled, 14 is a resolution to approve the warrant. Do we have a motion for a roll call vote?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
Councilman Landry?
Yes.
Councilman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Lample?
Yes.
And Councilwoman Wood?
Yes.
3 is a resolution to accept the proposal from Grasshopper Gardens, Inc., tree purchase and planting in the amount of $67,910 for the planting of 60 trees within the city limits. These monies are already included in the appropriated in the 2023 City General Fund budget for this project. Councilman Latin, you'd like to discuss?
Yes, so just, I realize this is $67,910, have been set aside for it, but this is like over $1,000 a tree. And I also realize that these are prioritized for certain areas in the city that have limited canopy, so it's to address that, and so they're larger trees. But what I was wanting to do is to ask the tree commission if we could work on a program to help homeowners to purchase trees to reduce costs for the city. So it could be something like the sidewalk program where there's a 50-50 match, but that the homeowners wouldn't just go out and purchase any tree, because we have questions about our trees being, if we have proper biodiversity, or that we have the proper trees in the proper places. So there'd be some kind of consultation that maybe the tree commission could kind of work on that, so that we could have a less expensive way and a more cost-effective way of addressing the trees in the city.
I just had one other comment. I agree with that, what you just said, and also, because we just did it down on Dix Avenue, when we did the renovations to the road and sidewalks down there. It's not to put trees on the side of the road where the telephone and electric lines are, because they never get to a size that they provide any canopy, because the utilities come along and within their right, trim them all out, cut them all out until they fall down. So I would hope that that would be looked at as well.
So I can tell you that the purchase of trees that are within the canopy are all small growth trees, so that was definitely part of this RFP that went out, and we put it out to 5 or 6 different companies to bid on, that also comes from a list that was from DEC and I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the tree inventory and tree grant, the people that we contracted with to do the inventory. So there's certain trees to make sure that we're not planting a tree that's only going to need to be butchered down the road. And so Ben, I just want to make sure I understand. So are you suggesting, these trees, many of them are going to be in that space that is in front of a homeowner's house, in the space between, and it's replanting trees that we've taken down over years. So are you suggesting that maybe a homeowner would want to split the cost of that tree, and that we ask kind of like you would
We come up with a program to kind of deal with this, in a way that we can use the city's dollar to go further.
I think that's a great idea going forward. It's
Yeah,
really innovative.
but we need to get this.
But I do think we should support this, just because we haven't planted in quite a while, and we definitely, and there's good reason for that. We were advised by the urban forester from the DEC not to plant until we had the inventory and management plan done, so that we knew what species to plant, where to plant. But now we did it, and so I definitely hope we move forward with this. But I think that's a really innovative idea, and I know that my constituents have asked me before, can I plant a tree if I was willing to pay for it? And maybe more would do that if we would share the cost.
And you can see some places where trees have planted themselves, and they're like Norwegian maples, and they're just going to grow fast and fall apart over the roads.
Awesome. So you're suggesting doing something like the 50-50 program, where if someone wants a tree, the city pays for the tree, and the homeowner would pay for the contractor to do it, or vice versa, whatever. They can pay for the tree, and we can do the work. Okay.
And there is right now for the tree commission, they're looking at an outreach program to not just for these trees, but others, to get people to adopt the trees that are in front of their house. Certainly for these, that we're saying if we're gonna plant this tree, will you help us water it and take care of it and kind of help us, and also for other trees that are there. And so this works, that would be one more way to interact and get their collaboration and cooperation. It's a great idea. Thank you, sir. So do we have a motion for roll call vote for resolution 3?
Can we do the rest and then do it all at once? Is that all right?
Yeah. I don't really have it. I just wanted to have a conversation.
Okay.
Great.
So I'll just,
resolution 11?
Yeah, resolution 11. So I just don't know this process of the urban renewal agency is not able to pay back. How's this exactly work?
So we have 4 different, I think they're called municipal, oh my goodness, I apologize. Public and we have the IDA, the LDC, the CDC, and urban renewal. They operate with a board of directors. They act on the behalf of the city of Glens Falls. The mayor chairs some. Our economic and community development officers sit on those boards as well. And those organizations are able to get funding from our state and federal government. So the IDA, I believe, I get my acronyms confused, but I'll give you an example. The IDA is in place so that when a not-for-profit, such as the hospital or the library, need to borrow money, the IDA is an entity, a legal entity set up by the state and the city of Glens Falls to be able to get that low-income bond and they did it so with the library. So the library borrowed money at 0% interest through the IDA, and then they paid that bond back. The hospital, Glens Falls Hospital, did the same thing. With urban renewal, it was made back during the old urban renewal days. It was, again, a public entity that got money from the federal government and the city of Glens Falls. It was the Glens Falls Urban Renewal Agency. And then money was given to buildings that needed to be rehabbed and torn down. We all know the horror stories of urban renewal. Well, also it was set up to loan money to businesses that were coming to grow. The LDC does this, the urban renewal does it, and I believe the CDC has done it. In this case, urban renewal operates on from time to time, the city of Glens Falls funds these. When our first round of ARPA money, Mayor Hall and the council approved giving $200,000 or $300,000 to the LDC that would help them to go into their loan program to loan money out to businesses. In the urban renewal back in the 1990s, urban renewal granted CB Sports $150,000, I believe, for them to grow their program. They built a building that I believe is now, connect me, it's National Grid. It's at the top of the hill in Dix Avenue, off of Dix Avenue, up by Leland Paper. I don't know if you know where that is.
It's Apollo Drive. I used to work there.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. So urban renewal gave a $150,000 loan to CB Sports, who then went belly up and walked away. And many years ago, that debt was transferred to the city's fund balance and has been held there for now over 10 years. And so the money's not there. The money, if CB Sports was repaying that and hadn't gone out of business, that money would be repaid, but they're not. They're gone. That money has just been sitting there. We could choose to do nothing and leave it there, but the controller is making the suggestion that we write that debt off, and that's what that happened. So it would just, instead of going from allocating fund balance, it would just be no more.
We're not, yeah, it's,
We're not gonna
we're never gonna get it. We're never gonna get it. It's not showing up as a revenue anywhere. It's just, we're never gonna get paid.
Yeah, 33 years, that's correct. Questions?
I used to have a jacket from CB Sports when they were on the corner where the Outfitters place is now, so.
I would just like to make a comment. I would hope we wouldn't allow accounts receivable for anything owed to the city to go 34 years. I just watched the same thing happen at the county with the LDC. They loaned $400,000 to a local business in 2012. The business was gone by 2014. And somebody asked a question about it the other day, and they said, "Oh yeah, we have to write that down." I think sometimes what happens is changes in administrations come along, and they go, "Oh, we know some entity that's involved with CB Sports. Let's go after them," and we spend more legal, we have bigger legal expenses we need. So I think that those things should be looked at.
Is there anything else the controller's office might see that's out there like this? It'd be good to know.
None at all. Matter of fact, you'll get that too when we do look at our fund balance. You remember there was a signed fund balance from our budget this year. It was just under $1.6 million. And this is the only other major chunk, and there's small amounts other than this, and you'll get a full reporting from Suzanne when we meet.
Just for these other three, I'm just going to, with these other two, I'm going to group them together. It's really, 13 wasn't the one I meant, it was 6. But it's, these community development annual payments come like with no details at all. And I talked to Chip about this today, and he's like, well, we can't give out like the information to the people. And I was like, yeah, but we could get a little bit more detail. There's more detail on everything else for like, so if it's like we help somebody buy a roof, as part of a thing, or if we installed an HVAC system, that would be good information to have there. It makes it a little bit, more understandable to people. The one where it was I think it was 13, is the gateway home ownership one. I mean, there's not anything more that you can say about that. But the other ones, it could be, there could be more details. And Chip said he was going to ask Pat to get a little bit more details on this.
Agreed. I asked the same thing, not knowing that's what you asked, but we could certainly talk about where that house is in Glens Falls, that's getting that rehab money, right? And we can talk about what we're spending money on the rehab. And I think you're right. The home ownership one is more self-explanatory, but still we could get you more information, the public more information, without giving out the personal.
I would just make sure we know what we can and can't do.
We just need to help people with their privacy.
Yeah, I think the feds have, and there's rules, so
Yeah.
we just need to make sure we're all right with that.
Great question. All set. So, do we have
I'll make
a
the motion.
motion for roll call vote on resolution 3, 11, 12, and 13?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
A roll call vote, please.
Probably should read them.
Okay. So, 3 I read?
Yeah.
11, resolution to authorize the controller's office to write off the receivable from this 1990 CB Sports bond in the amount of $146,813 against, and book it against the general fund unreserved fund balance. 12 is a resolution to approve community development rehabilitation application number 2022-16-003, the amount not to exceed $30,000. 13 is a resolution to approve a grant award for case file 20231-HB-009 in accordance with the City of Glens Falls Adirondack Gateway Home Ownership Program in the amount not to exceed $24,000. Do we have a motion for these roll call vote?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Larchbar.
Yes.
Councilman Donovan.
Yes.
Councilman Landry.
Yes.
Councilman O'Connell.
Yes.
Councilman Lapple.
Yes.
Thank you. Old business, Councilman Clark.
None.
Councilman Donahue.
None at this time.
Councilman Landry.
Thank you, Mayor. The first piece of old business resolved itself in an email that I received this afternoon. My question was, when was open pickup here in the city? But I did see that we received an email today, I believe it was October 9th, and it runs through November 11th. So I just asked people.
Or the first snow.
What's that?
Or the first snow.
Or the first snow, yeah. I just ask people to not put stuff on the street before the 9th because it just raises havoc with our sewer system, which raises its own havoc. So, I'm happy to report that the situation regarding the potential development by a local wholesale supply company in the borders and fringes on properties in the Windy Hill and Windy Ridge neighborhoods has been successfully resolved. The potential developer listened to the city and its residents about the severely negative effect that the development would have on the city and its East End properties. They are now working with our county economic development staff to find a more suitable location for this project. I'd like to thank the residents from those neighborhoods who gathered together and voiced their concerns. I'd like to thank Mayor Collins, Supervisor McDevitt from the 2nd Ward, and Councilman Jim Clark for joining our efforts on these issues and attending a Queensbury Town Board meeting. I never saw so many elected officials from the city of Glens Falls at a Queensbury Town Board meeting in my entire life, so thank you for that. Also, I would implore the mayor to continue working with the town of Queensbury to modify our agreement on properties we own on Veterans Road and Luzerne Road, so that development like this would be allowed on those properties. We have properties up there that would have been a perfect location for this place to move to. But because they have, if the pie is this big, they have a little retail business that they run. And that retail business is not allowed, if I understand it correctly, in that area. And we ought to be working on that because as Main Street in Queensbury starts to develop, I've noticed that it's moving off the main street. There's a lot of new apartments that are being built on the side streets heading towards Luzerne Road. And I think that there eventually will be a lot of activity along Luzerne Road and Veterans Road that could be had if we could get rid of that stipulation. So if you could do that, I'd appreciate it. Lastly, I had a constituent ask me why take a bite and so early in the season. I don't know who determines the length of that. Amy, can you? The collaborative does. They determine when take a bite ends.
Well, there's a lot of discussion. There's a committee that take by committee, and they've gone back and forth a little bit because the last 2 weeks of August usually are very, very hot, and also a lot of people are getting ready to return to school, and some staffing issues. So they only did 6 weeks this year, and we did 8 weeks. They moved it around, so they're thinking of maybe doing something at the end of August.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Listen, it's one of the nicest free family events that we do here in the city. People can get downtown, there's entertainment for kids, there's music. You want to buy food, you can buy food. But any of the ones that I went to, you looked around, you knew everybody because it was everybody from town. So it's a good event. So thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Palmer.
I wanted to follow up on an email I had sent regarding the money that this council had allocated towards third ward water projects. I had been asking for a while, what have we done with those funds? And it didn't seem like I was getting anywhere. I did eventually pull the resolutions and send them, and we had authorized $250,000 to be spent on third ward water projects, and it was supposed to pay for an engineering study. As I've mentioned here before, the area where Sanford Street and Monroe Street, that area floods very heavily. I've been out there, I've said this before, but I've been out there when kids are swimming in the street. Like it's really bad, and my constituents have been mostly patient. Some of them even investing at their own expense, infrastructure and rain gardens and all kinds of things. And so I know that you did respond to me after my follow-up email asking about it, saying that you were going to get more information and get back to me, but I haven't heard back. And those constituents know that we're moving forward on Webster Avenue, and they're saying, well, what about our area? And I know that I had secured that funding in the past, and the council approved it, so I just want to find out, where are we with that? Because that's a good chunk of money.
So it doesn't appear, it appears that the resolution was passed and that the money wasn't allocated. And so what I've asked, we're having a meeting with the deputy controller and the water and sewer superintendent. We meet every Thursday. We canceled last Thursday's meeting because the deputy controller had a death in the family. We're not meeting tomorrow because I have a day off. But we will be meeting, we'll continue. I think we actually might be moving the time, and I will let you know when all those meetings are. But the first meeting that we have, we're going to, I think what the recommendation is, if it can be done, because there's already been a resolution, is that we just allocate money that's in the fund balance towards it. We've applied for and gotten one grant for $30,000. And we have applied for another grant that I believe we've either gotten or believe we are going to get for $100,000. And so we can use that money that was allocated to do a study. The grant can help pay for the majority of the study, and then what the local matches can come out of that money. And then it would stay there, the balance would stay there as we need it to do more. It's going to be, I know you know this, but to say it for the record, it's a very large problem that runs from underground water source that runs from Glens Falls High School all the way to the cemetery pond. And so therefore, I don't know that $130,000 worth of those two grants is going to cover it all, but we need to, we've applied and I think we've actually gotten them. And so as we move forward, that money will come out of that allocated money. But we cannot find any evidence that it was actually allocated. Your statement is right on. You found it, and thank you for doing the work, and I'm hoping to as well as to pull that up. And so we just need to allocate that money and then use that as the local match as we do this in June.
I would request that when you have the meetings, because I think you said you wanted to talk to the controller and deputy controller, that I be included as you said you would, just so that I can make sure that I know what's going on so I can explain it to my constituents.
Absolutely. Yep.
Because it's just, I understand it's a big project, it's very expensive, but I think the idea with this money was it was supposed to do the engineering study so that we
It was the planning.
kind of shovel ready for the grants.
That was the whole goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Was to allocate the funds to do a plan to address the problem.
Right.
Because we know there is a problem.
Yeah.
We don't know, we think we know the extent of it, but we really don't. And so we need to understand that, and we need to then look for the funding to try to address it. But if we don't have the plan to try to address it, then we can't. So that's the thing. So I appreciate that we're moving forward with it because it's been a problem, and I appreciate the constituency being somewhat patient.
They have been mostly patient, but again, we did allocate these funds for this study a while ago, so I would like to see us move
Well,
forward.
we got the grant money.
We got two small grants, and they're going to be used to that study. And then we'll make sure, because the money was not allocated. So out of the fund balance, the water and sewer fund balance, there's no like if you look at our fund balance, no encumbered thing. So that's the first thing to do, is to make sure you encumber that money that could only go to that. And then as we move forward with those grants and that engineering study, that the grants will help, that money will go to pay the local match.
So if we could do that now, or do we look at making sure we absolutely allocate it in this upcoming budget for next year?
That's why I said I need to talk to the controller and the deputy controller, and I would have invited you if the meetings had happened, but again, death in the family, and then this Thursday I'm out. So it'll be next Thursday, and we can get an answer. We can do it at one or the other, but we may be able to do it immediately.
Well, I think, yeah.
We have a resolution, so I think we should be able to do it, but I
Right.
just don't.
Right,
I-
it's just putting the money, allocating it in the budget and finding a contractor to do it, which there's a lot of engineers around here. so-
Well, we're already working on that, so that, because of the grant money.
Yeah.
So we can answer that.
I have been asking every month or so for the last couple of years about it though, so I'm eager for to see us move forward, and I do appreciate that we were able to, you know, at least have a proof of the funds so we can move forward. That's all I have for old business.
Councilman Matt?
The East Side Action Committee had a meeting, and I've got some notes from them, so I just wanted to read those out for you. One of the things is many of the East Side properties have overgrown greenery branches on sidewalks, making the sidewalks impassable, such as the corner of Dixon Prospect, a house on Orchard Street closer to Maple near the bike path, and on opposite sides of the Office of Community Services. So I believe in code, branches are supposed to be trimmed to 7 feet over sidewalks. So I know that we're not doing that on city properties. So that might be something to investigate about enforcing that. Further, there's Eastfield Community Pool House, and it needs updating for changing areas, as well as the shower areas. There's no benches or shelving to put a beach bag, bottles, clothes on to stay dry while changing into or out of swimsuits, as well as no hooks on the walls to hold the bag or clothes. And one curtain in one of the 2 areas was broken and lying on the floor last time this person went there. There was no warm water for the shower, just cold. There should be 2 curtains for privacy for those who are changing. So that was, they were thinking those could be minor improvements that come in with the grant money that's, already been doing it. Another one about the changing rooms. Basically, that's that too. Another one about a bush on Prospect. There's another one about the Orchard Street house. There's another one about overgrown properties on Prospect. More about that as well. Just trying to skim over it. This is something that I think is going before the Board of Public Safety tomorrow, but we've talked about traffic calming features for Hudson, and the Kensington School, where the flashing beacon is, was one of the things that people are thinking would be something that would be neat to have over there. There's a couple other things I have for Board of Public Safety tomorrow, so I'll be there. Let's see, we've got more about, there's a lot about overgrown vegetation. There was a comment about aggressive panhandling downtown. I think these are on there was an actual dumpster fire over on the east end from a person who was throwing rocks at different places. She made it all the way to the police station. She was about to throw a rock through the windshield of one of the cruisers, so the police were able to detain her, and I don't know exactly how that was followed up. But there's just some concerns about mental health issues. I did say to the committee that we do now have a social worker on staff. That's all I got.
Thank you. Councilwoman Good. Old business.
I just wanted to comment on Murray Street, how well it's coming along and how wonderful it looks finally. And they're just doing a great job. Unfortunately, it's been a lot of rain, but I had to look around that, but it's looking really, really, really good. Thanks.
Thank you. New business, Councilman Clark.
Yeah, Karen, you're gonna have to help me with this one. I'd like to put forward a motion to refer the rezoning
4 Sherman Avenue, Glens Falls,
To the
tax
committee.
map parcel 302.20-21-2 to the planning board for an advisory opinion.
Thank you. What she said.
So we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Or does it have to be roll call vote?
Yes,
Sorry.
Roll call,
Good.
because it needs to be unanimous.
So we have a motion, right? A motion for roll call vote, thank you.
Yeah, we already did that.
Yeah.
Councilman Archibald?
Yes.
Councilman Diamond?
Yes.
Councilman Landry?
Yes.
Councilman Ballmer?
Yes.
Councilman Russell?
Yes.
And Councilman Finn?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other new business?
I have none.
New business, Mr. Dunn?
None at this time.
Mr. Landry?
Thank you. I'd like to thank Captain Rick Stafford and the Glens Falls Fire Department for their wonderful 9/11 remembrance ceremony held at the Ridge Street Firehouse this Monday, September 11th. This is an important day in our country's history, and I'm happy that they made this event possible. As we all said after 9/11, we'll never forget. A resident committee working to revitalize the city-owned former Glens Falls swim and tennis property on Sanford Street has met regularly over the summer to continue to move that effort forward. Meetings were held with our local state assembly leaders who reacted positively to our long-term plans and offered assistance in obtaining state funding. The proposed plan would develop an environmental education center and nature walk in both the city of Glens Falls and town of Queensbury. This group will be meeting again later here in September and will be looking to appear before the council to give a more precise update on this great project. And a side note, Mayor, if I could, I think that property over there, and we noticed this in the walkthrough that we had, it is a lawsuit waiting to happen. Kids can get cut through the fence, through the wire fence, so what they're crawling through, they could get hurt on. There's broken glass in windows and so on and so forth. And if we could, I'd like to see the DPW get there and see if they can't take care of some of those things, and also make it possible so you can't drive into that property. They have a hard time keeping the west end of that property locked.
Talking Tennyson Swim property, right?
Yeah, the Tennyson property, yes. I've had a lot of positive feedback, just as Mary said, from many of my constituents regarding the park improvements that are nearing completion in all of our city parks, and it's been a great job and a great effort by everybody who was involved in that. I had lunch with some officials from the Buffalo HUD office, not officially. They were people that I worked with when I was with the Housing Authority over the years. They're also involved in monitoring and auditing our community development grants and programs that the city has that come through the Buffalo HUD office. They mentioned Pat Dow for his excellent administration of our grants and the timeliness of his required federal reporting. They stated that we've come a long way in that department and applauds our efforts. So I thought that should be noted. Lastly, Mayor, I'd like to know what the status for Code Blue is this winter. Do we know? Have we had a meeting with, and what is it, 6 weeks after the first lightning strike in September is the first snowfall, something like that? That maybe we get a meeting with the people from the open door as to what's going to happen. That's all.
Thank you. New business, Councilwoman Palmer.
Tomorrow night at the Board of Public Safety meeting, Creighton and Manning will be giving a presentation about the Webster Avenue project. And so if anybody wants to know or has questions or anything like that, that would be a good meeting to go. I just mentioned that because it is a third ward project, and I have had questions from my constituents, mostly really positive. They're happy to see it happening. Also, I wanted to comment, I didn't say this earlier, we had a workshop regarding the communication director position, and there was a lot of commenting about, what is the overall vision, and are we making decisions with a plan? And I was kind of focused on the budget discussion, but we did, pass that resolution to pursue comprehensive planning. And I think that is a big part of making these decisions going forward, is having an overarching plan that can guide us. And I know, Mayor, you said that you were going to start a new committee that I believe you said the personnel committee would do, right? And Bob would chair. And I think that it's good that we're taking a look at that, but I also think that that is something that if we get the funding, which we won't know till December, it is something to think about, that when we go through the comprehensive planning process and we get resident feedback and we have an idea of what the vision is for the future, when we're making these decisions on where we're spending our money, it would be good to say, now how does this relate to our comprehensive plan? How does this position help us get forward with the comprehensive plan? How does this department contribute to that? So I didn't say this at the time because it was a different discussion, but there were a lot of questions from residents, like, is there a plan, is there an overarching vision? And I think that our council did support the idea of pursuing that, and I think that's an important piece with that. I just want to make that comment.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Mott?
Yes, I've brought this up before. This is the first time we've had the full council together since then. But the charter has a component in it when the mayor's not available, then the councilman at large will step in. And when the councilman at large isn't available, then the council's to select somebody to preside over common council. And I'd like to get that on, either on the agenda for our next meeting, or if we can hash it out right now, we could hash it out right now. I don't know what anybody else's feelings are with it.
Are you talking then about doing this on a case-by-case basis?
No,
or
I'm saying
or
about
making an appointment?
having it resolved right now, so that anytime.
Resolved in what way? So in other words,
So that we have a resolution that resolves that when the mayor and the councilman at large are here, that the council has selected this person, and then if that person isn't available, select another person. Council can do that right now.
So that's what I'm asking. So in other words, a resolution that would appoint that person who would be the third in command.
That's what the charter asks us to do.
Right, and then how long is that person appointed for?
Until either the councilman at large or the mayor come back.
No. I mean, is that a permanent appointment? Does it just last for our term?
It would last for our term.
I don't have any comment. I made a suggestion in the email that the next time that this happened, that Councilman Clark could talk to the council and select somebody. You're welcome to make any motions you wish.
Yeah, my thought as the council person at large was, I'd love to give everybody an opportunity, if it were to arise again, to have the responsibility of being acting mayor if either one of us was gone or both of us were gone. I don't want to pinhole one person to do that. I think
the reason that we've run into some issues when people have been out of town. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be interrupting you, but I've had this conversation before, and I just want to have it laid out. We were talking about how we didn't want things to be convoluted, and we might not know when somebody might not be available. Somebody might be going on a hike or something like that, not knowing that there's not somebody available.
Yeah, that is your concern.
Yes.
And you voiced it, and I think other people have voiced that it's not a concern.
One who's been on the council once.
You could make any suggestion you wanted how you wanted to choose it, but there were Councilman Landry and Councilman Clark who said that they didn't think this was worth a motion and didn't want to address it. But it's up to you. If Ben has a motion to select a process, it would need a second.
I do think that we need to clarify the process. I think I thought we all kind of agreed that we need to have something clarified because we don't totally know what it is. The language in the charter is vague. I don't know that we are going to be able to do that tonight, but I mean, unless everyone agrees. But I do think we need a clear process. Because as we discussed the last time this came up, what if there's an emergency, right? So then we wouldn't know what to do.
And
Right.
I would say also that when Senator Gillibrand was in town, we had an instance where the mayor was not available, where the councilman at large did not know that the mayor was not going to be available at that time and wasn't available himself, and it was chaotic, and it kind of makes the whole city look bad when you have chaos reign.
Anyone?
So I would like to put that on the agenda for the next council meeting.
Is there the other people? Diane, it sounds like she agrees that procedure would be thing. I think that I guess I would like you all to decide whether you've got the majority. If the majority of you think that you want to clarify the process, other than simply Jim Clark is the council person at large, can make the nomination. But it's up to you. I know you don't like it, but that is what they were saying.
That's not what the charter indicates.
The charter indicates that the council will choose, and that's it. And what your objection was is that I made the suggestion that Mary Gooden that fill that position, and then the rest of the council all agreed, and you had a problem because it was my suggestion, and nobody's ever had a problem with that before. So I don't know if you've made a motion. You'd like to put it on the agenda. Does anybody else want this?
What are you putting on the agenda?
Exactly.
I'd like to have, I'd like for it not to be on the agenda yet. I'd like for us to have a discussion, and I don't want it to happen right now here.
So it could be brought up in new business at the next meeting.
Sure.
Brought up by anyone, correct?
Sure.
Okay.
We talk about it.
I'm hearing that you want to have a discussion as opposed to a resolution.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
So maybe there's a different forum where you want to have a discussion about it.
Maybe after the next council meeting, go into executive session, have a discussion.
I don't think this.
I don't think it's executive session.
Okay, sorry. I
It
don't
could be
know.
a workshop, it could be a special projects, I don't know, you could delegate it to one of your committees.
I will put something together. And if it meets with everyone's approval, then we can put it certainly, or have discussion about it, or put it on the agenda, one of the two things.
Is everyone okay with the president of the council putting together a suggestion for you all to review?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Good, new business?
No business.
I have just a couple items. One is Councilman Landry, the Queensberry collaboration, just so you know that Supervisor Stroud is interested in doing the same and lifting that, changing the zone. He wants to work with the city of Glens Falls. He's been working with us on our efforts, and I want to mention the Balloon Festival this year. So we're having a block party after the opening ceremonies of the Balloon Festival on Thursday, September 21st. So that night, after they have opening ceremonies, we're going to have a small parade leading down Glen to that. They'll have a quick opening ceremonies, and they're having live music from Kevin McCrell. We are hosting a block party there instead of bringing it down and trying to get the crowd to come down to downtown. We're hosting it at at City Park. We're hosting a dinner. You're all welcome to join us for the pilots of that. We used to do it at one of the restaurants downtown, but we're actually having a barbecue for them at Crandall Park. And then we're also hosting music. So Kevin McCrell is playing for the Balloon Festival, and we're having the Refrigerators play and keep the party going and have a moon glow at Crandall Park on the 21st. And that's about a collaboration with the Balloon Festival Committee, the town of Queensberry, and the city of Glens Falls to pull that off. And then I wanted to talk about is today we had, or two things, sorry, National Grid, we had you'll probably see in the paper in the next couple of days, National Grid came today and helped the Friends of Coles Woods put up lights in the new trail that's over off of Dixon Road for night lights. They're giving Friends of Coles Woods $25,000 towards running some underground lights in one of the sections of the trail of Coles Woods. And so we were there to talk about that collaboration between the Friends of Coles Woods, the City of Glens Falls, and National Grid. And that was very nice to have happen. And then the last is I want to give you a quick update. I will be sending you an email, hopefully tomorrow afternoon, with a date for the groundbreaking of our DRI. I don't have a date because I'm trying to arrange with the governor's office, so it may not be tomorrow. I'm trying to make it so that the governor can attend. She wants to come to the groundbreaking, and so I may not have an immediate answer, but I'll try to get that answer for you tomorrow. And I've had meetings with Sonny Bonaccio and from Bonaccio Construction, and they are working with us to modify the contract so that we can start the phase one as well, instead of waiting for the announcement of the HCR tax credits. So I wanted you to hear it first that this is happening, but I don't have specific dates coming soon, hopefully tomorrow, but it's really, I want to hold off the date until the governor can come, because she's indicated she wants to. So that's the DRI update. Yes.
So the Bonaccio, that if I understood you correctly, they're more amenable to moving forward with phase one now?
Absolutely.
That's really good.
Yes, it really is. And it's because I met with the governor a few weeks ago and told her how important this was and the HCR tax credit. And then I got the commissioner of HCR to call me the next day, and then they called Bonaccio, and everybody agreed that the best thing to do was, they're not committing to a full bore between now and February, but they are willing to start work and get us moving forward and helping us meet what I think it's called project milestones. So start the work and work on it while they wait for the final, because that application for HCR is just coming out this week. So they won't know until February. But they've agreed to not hold off on starting until February.
Great.
It is. It's great. Great news. Wanted you to have it first. Okay? Thank you all. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Public comment.
Public comment. Excuse me. Thank you. Do we have anybody from the public who'd like to address the council? Not seeing anyone. Do we have anybody online, Peter? Do we have a motion? Not hearing anything. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. We are adjourned.